Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, is the latest by DreamWorks. Really soon after The Boss Baby. They had these releases, like, really close to each other. But man, they can't be any more different. This is, like, from a different studio. I wasn't really too into the Captain Underpants books as a kid. It came out around, when I was in 5th grade, and I had the first book. I remember, like, some of the characters that appear in this movie, but I wasn't really super into it like some other kids were. I did, however, like the cartoony style that it had, and this movie really does capture that. In fact, it actually starts out in 2D, not 3D. Captain Underpants is about these two best friends that create this comic book about this fictional superhero named Captain Underpants. They also pull a lot of pranks off at their school because their school is run by a terrible principal that makes everything not fun, even getting rid of stuff like the music and arts program. One day, after pulling off a prank, the principal now has video evidence of Harold and George pulling it off, so he wants to put them in separate classes so he can destroy their friendship. But before he signs the paperwork to do so, George uses a hypno ring he found in a cereal box to hypnotize the principal into becoming Captain Underpants. And now, whenever they snap their fingers, he turns into Captain Underpants, and when he's splashed with water, he turns back into the principal. First of all, I gotta say, this is probably one of the most faithful adaptations of a comic or book series since friggin' Peanuts movie that was back in 2015. The style and movement looks like it's straight from one of the books. One complaint I have is that the kids are voiced by adults, which I thought I wouldn't get used to, but I got used to it after a while. And people may mark this against the movie, but it does have a lot of potty humor, but that was kind of the point of Captain Underpants, so you're going to see a lot of that in here. There isn't anything too crude, but that's just a warning if you don't like that kind of humor. That's not to say it's the only kind of humor that's in here, because there is some adult humor and some humor that might fly over the heads of kids. Like there's a point where the villain says, "Oh, this school is so tidy, just like the teacher's salary and how much society values education." The villain, by the way, played by Nick Kroll, I thought was excellent. It's Professor Poopy Pants, and he goes by Professor P, but yeah, Professor Poopy Pants. And like when you hear his full name, you can't help but giggle at it. It isn't just the style that's unique about this movie, but it also has these very interesting sequences that changes animation style, and sometimes it's just really hilarious. There's even a point where they go to sock puppets, and I thought that was great. There's also this recurring joke with Harold and with a certain type of animal that I loved, and once you see it, you'll understand why. The movie in its entirety, I don't think is hilarious, but just sprinkled throughout, there are a lot of funny moments. I think it depends on your type of humor, but if this came out like in the 5th grade, I think I would have loved it. Something I recently learned about this movie is that the budget was only $38 million, which compared to the other DreamWorks movies, that's like really cheap. Apparently it's because of the outsourcing to Canada, which they're starting to do more. I'm not sure if we're going to have another Sausage Party situation, but I hope not, but 38 million is a bit more than what Sausage Party was. But I think the style of the movie really helped, and if that's the case, please make more like this, because the movie is very stylized and has a very unique look to it, and I want more animated movies like this. So to DreamWorks, I've doubted you these past couple of years whether you could make something great again, but you've made something great. And the next thing being made is How to Train Your Dragon 3, which hopefully is going to be also really awesome. So if you have seen Captain Underpants, tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take it.